Okay. How are you? Where do you want to start today? I guess. Right.
I was thinking it would be good for us just to kind of run through what we feel like the guesses have been. Article 20, we agreed to adding language for the first and final improvement plan needing representation. Article 31, adding language for the counselors with the 60-hour program and the LCPC license. We have said that Article 25 and the duty days can be discussed in that calendar committee that would potentially go into effect for 27-28. We offered a counter proposal on Article 43. Mr. Dick has stated that he will address those Article 36 coaching concerns through the coaching allocation process for this school year. I just wanted to reiterate that. Also, our counter proposal on salaries included a percentage raise, which is something that has not been applied to the teacher salary schedule before. So the minimum with the step movement is 3%, going all the way up to
3.328%.
on that first cell. So just wanted to also clarify and mention that.
Okay. I think want to point out that we do not agree that the calendar due date issue should go to a committee. And we plan on having that addressed again today. We recognize and understand that the assignment of the number of coaching positions is not a mandatory topic, like Mr. Dick pointed out. But the compensation of those positions is. We agree. So we look forward to seeing how that maybe can be adjusted to accommodate the safety factor and level all that out. And we also are very excited about looking at a percentage raise increase on the salary schedule, which is why we introduced that this year. So we are, I don't know of any time that it's ever been done. I don't know, maybe it was done before I was born. I don't know. I haven't read the contracts that far back, so. But yeah, so we are also very excited about that. We spent all of yesterday meeting and coming up with a proposal so that we could meet today. So thank you for being flexible and giving us the time to do that. We feel like that was a really good use of our time, and we worked until almost 4 o'clock yesterday. So yeah, so we have and if you guys have something you want to present, we're happy to see that first. If not, we have a proposal that we worked on yesterday that we're happy to pass to you. Okay. This is the other one. There should be 12. We did the same thing that was. Okay. Um, The third page of your packet is missing its front page, so Danica's handing that out now. That's your Article 31. With the column placement on appendix A. So we met for quite a while yesterday and we put together a package of what we felt like kind of encompasses everything at that 3% salary increase that we proposed, counter proposed. So in your packet, you have that 3% salary increase salary schedule with, your 1-year extension on the salary schedule instead of the original 5. That we had proposed. You have your Article 31, column placement. Date moved to October 1st from November 1st. You have your Article 38 fringe benefits, increasing that amount to $652 from the current 600. You have our final Article 43 and 44 sick leave language that it was the last one that we passed. Then you have Article 25, duty year, taking the duty year down to 188 days. And then you have Article 2 definitions daily rate, where the daily rate would be computed at that 188 days or 192 days for first year staff.
On your salary proposal, do you have the percentage of adjustment? You might just have it in a table, of what the increase actually is with step movement as well.
No, so it's just every cell gets 3%. So once they make their move to the next cell, I don't have that computed, no.
So are you proposing no step movement or that you're
No,
saying?
it's included in the paragraph below. It would just be that they would just get their step if they're eligible, except for those that are stuck in the gray and on a provision of renewal, which is the current language. And then those at step Z currently, if eligible, would be able to move to that AA that was added.
I think we would like to caucus to be able to discuss and review. You good?
Yep.
Okay, thank you for letting us extend. We have prepared responses to your proposal.
Start moving.
Thank you.
Okay, the salary proposal in front of you is, we've just provided some extra data on our previous proposal, including the amount of increase per step that staff will be placed on next year with step movement. You've also got a sheet that gives you the total extra dollar amount, base salary that we provided at each step, and the extra with the increase in the district's contribution for health insurance. So we have put together a proposal that, contrary to some of the information we've seen put out there, provides a minimum of 3% on this entire scale to a maximum of 3.328% increase for all staff who are not in the gray section, the bachelor's columns. The increase in total compensation with the insurance contribution is between $2,316.22 up to, because the percentage raise instead of just a flat dollar amount applied to the scale this year. On the high end of the scale, that increases to $3,374.14 in total additional compensation. We agree with those who have said that the insurance increases are high this year. 11.8% increase across the board. I think it's worth noting, though, that that money does not come to us. It's not revenue for us. It is going directly to the insurance carriers. That, unfortunately, is a symptom of health insurance costs across the country, and one that we're facing the same as every other employer. Next year, it is not looking like it's going to be any better. Our rate cap for next year is 14.8%, and that's the last year of our cap. Beyond that, we're hearing numbers that could be as high as 30%. So we agree that we need to do something to address the rising healthcare costs. That's why we have made proposals over the past year to incentivize preventative care and other measures that will help bring that number down. Unfortunately, we're not able to move forward with that because of a grievance about that idea. So we pulled that off the table and haven't moved forward. But healthcare costs are something that we all have a part in keeping low. So we wish that that was not as big as it is, but unfortunately, that's outside of our control. What we can propose is a salary increase and increase in the district contribution to health insurance that fits within our budget, knowing that we have 275 FTE decrease in student count FTE for next year. We are not receiving additional funding and other funds like special education, federal funding. Yet we have increases for salaries that are paid out of those funds as well, that we have to absorb in the general fund. So this is where we believe that we can make the investment at this time. So at that point, I'll take any questions.
I think there's been just, can you talk a little bit about FT enrollment? Because I think there's been some confusion just in general, and I don't really have a great way to explain it to people. Because they look in the budget and they look at things that were given in charts and things, and the numbers are, I mean, FT numbers are different depending on which one you're looking at, and where does that number come from? Where can they find the, like, last 5 years of that, if they wanted to look at that, like, where is that information coming from, and where can they go verify or whatever?
Quickest place to probably find that would be from previous year's legal max documents. That's what tells us what the final general fund and supplemental general fund numbers are based on. After student count was audited, you will hear two numbers for student count, which can be confusing. The head count, which is just total number of students that are in the building. And then you've got FTE, which is because in the complicated state funding formula, there are some dollar amounts that we receive that are not based on necessarily the student count, they're based on other factors. But they get to an FTE amount or full-time equivalent by dividing those dollars by what the base state aid per pupil is. So when you hear 275, that is not head count, that is the adjusted with the formula. But that is the real number that we then look at our general fund.
On your percentage increase per step, can you tell me what the formula is to get to that number? Because the formula that I've been using doesn't match these percentage increases.
The formula that I used would take, let's say someone is moving from step 0 to step 1, to keep it simple. We would take the step 1 proposed amount minus the step 0 proposed amount, or from the previous year, and then divide that amount by step 0 from the previous year. That's going to give you your percentage with step 8.
Okay. That's what I was using, and my percentages were not matching those.
The feedback that we got yesterday from our bargaining unit was that with the price of things increasing and the raise that we got last year and this proposal for this year, is that teachers are needing to make some really tough decisions because they just can't afford to be a teacher anymore. And I think that's where the frustration is coming from, that people just aren't able to survive. I think that's where our pushback is.
Can you just clarify, because I do subtraction math here and it doesn't equal $52. So can you explain how we came up with this total increase with the minimum? Does this compensate? I guess I look at this and I assume that this is just the increase on that cell plus $52. Is that not what this is?
$52 times 12 months.
Thank you. There would be, I don't teach math like that. Everybody rest assured, I have no hand in teaching children math, so.
I would not be surprised if there could be a typo somewhere. I mean,
Yeah, that's fine. I just was like,
Really
did some
fast.
quick math and then was like, this isn't the same number. Okay,
That should be.
okay. Any other questions? You guys?
When you say FTE is declining by 275, 65?
275.
275. When, how and when is that data determined?
So we have our student count day on September 20th each year, sometimes adjusted for weekends. And we get an accurate count of students who attend that day then. And that number is what is either used in our funding formula or the prior year, whichever is higher. When you are in a situation where you have years in a row of declining enrollment, you're almost always using prior year's numbers. So last year's student FTE count is what dropped by 275, and that's what we have to feed into the funding formula this year. We are anticipating, based on student count, that next year will be affected by 100 FTE reduction. But that's an estimate.
There is a window, so say the student was gone on September 20th, there's a window then that they can come and be in attendance within a certain number of days. And then, of course, that is included within our audit, and those numbers are verified.
And that audit number is generally published in December, early December.
Do you know, or can you get for us what that last year's number was, then that will be basing the formula off of?
Yeah, it will just come from our KSD public recap form. We can just provide you a copy of that.
Is it in the packet Gary gave us?
It might be, I've done. We'll just get you fresh copies.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions around that, or we'll move forward?
I think if I could just add to that for a minute, as somebody who used to sit here and do this for a few years, and then it's been, I think, 5 or 6 years probably since I've been part of this. We have a long, long history of trying to come with the best offer that we think we have that is responsible and sustainable and something we can do this year and beyond, over time. We really aren't trying to win. We're trying to come and give what we think is the best reasonable, sustainable offer that we can come up with, that we can do repeatedly forever for all of you without having to have some catastrophe happen that the next year we have to make some huge adjustment. And so from the time that I did this years back through now and prior to that time, I think we have a history of trying to do that. We're not trying to come with a 2% offer or a low offer, knowing that we could give you 3 and go back and forth and say, oh, we settled at 2.5. And so we won, we came out 0.5% ahead. We're really not trying to do anything like that. We're trying to give the best that we think we can give and still be the highest paid salary in the county, which we are, and we're pretty certain we will be again when this is done.
For a first year teacher,
Yes,
but not your
Not
veteran, yeah. Your veteran teachers are not comparable.
Yesterday morning, I looked at different salary schedules and looked at a master's plus 30 step 14. And we are ahead.
Now, how many masters plus 30 do we have in our district?
We have that data. It's how we calculate how much this proposal is going to cost.
I just
How many
most of
staff
them
we
have
have.
the masters column. When I was looking at the data, I just remember the masters column being the largest column.
And that's, I mean,
Maybe not down, but
correct. I mean, we have a lot of people in the master's column and over.
But this proposal for those people who are in the gray area, since our district doesn't offer any type of tuition reimbursement, it is a 2.315% raise. That's hard for somebody in the gray area who can't afford to take classes to swallow,
So
especially if they're stuck in that spot, you can't get a step either.
our summer professional development schedule offers multiple opportunities for college credit at a pretty significantly reduced rate with some of our colleges that have given us pretty good deals.
That is true, but we can't move to the master's column on those hours. And other districts do offer that.
And respectfully, a lot of us are working other jobs in the summer. And one job should be enough.
PD points have also helped other districts move over columns. Our PD points just, so
I'm sorry?
they just add up and we can use them to recertify, but we can't move over with them.
I think, we hear you when you say that you come to the table with what you believe is the max best offer that you can provide. We also feel like we have a responsibility to come to the table and represent and ask for what we hear from the bargaining unit, so. Which is, I mean, what we spent a lot of time yesterday figuring out.
Was it
Uh,
40%?
So, I mean, as of right now, we had 40% of the bargaining unit in less than 24 hours provide feedback to us, which, I mean, surprisingly is pretty, in my opinion, a pretty high rate, given that not everyone checks their work email, not everybody's on Facebook during the summer, so I mean, and we spent a lot of time pouring over that information and trying to come up with something that we thought was fair and met what they were asking for, as well as trying to balance what we felt like we heard from you guys, so. I mean, we're happy to go back to the table, I guess, unless you guys have a counter that you want to provide or what you want to do.
We do not have a counter proposal.
Okay, so we will need time then to meet and come up with a, I guess, to take another swing at it.
This question's been weighing on me, and I just have to ask. Are the administrators willing to take less than 3% like they have recently for their raise this year? Because that's what they've been getting recently. When we see that we don't get that and then they do, and it's out. And I'm not saying that they don't deserve, because I think we deserve it. But are they willing to take less? Have you talked with them? Are you willing to take less yourselves to allow us to feel a little financial security?
I'll tell you at the negotiations table, our focus and priority is on the bargaining.
I know, but you're also looking at the full budget. So the full budget does include your salaries.
We
Correct.
also don't negotiate with the administrators or classified. Really how this works is we begin building the base of our budget. We have an idea of what we can afford when we come to this table. And then what we're able to offer to others is really dependent upon how this goes. We are not in a position to bargain with you on administrator raises or classified raises because we just don't, we're not to that stage yet. We've got to see with everything else that goes into the budget, Evergy isn't charging less or basing their increases to rates based on inflation. I mean, we have to factor in lots of things before we get to what's left for other groups' raises.
I just want to, please, we don't know each other well enough for you to know that I'm just kind of the person who says all the things all the time. And that's not meant to be personal, it just is. But I need you to know that when we say things like that, our staff find that very tone deaf, because they also have energy costs that are increasing and healthcare costs that are increasing and bills that are increasing. I mean, we know your costs are going up because our costs are also going up at home. And so that is for them, the really hard part to swallow that is that then when you look at it, you come to the table and you tell me that you provided the max offer you can, but then now you're telling me that you base your budget off of how well this depends on how this goes, is then telling me how much you have for them, but if you already came to the table knowing what you could give me and you supposedly only give me your highest amount that you can, you should know before you come to the table then how much you have to offer your administration and classified staff, right? Because you've already maxed yourself out. That's what you said. So those two things can't coexist, right? So like, as of right now, it's not based on how this goes, is how much money you have to do your raises for your administration and classified staff. You already know that supposedly because you came with your max offer. So unless you're telling me there's wiggle room in that max offer to go up, I don't know how you wouldn't know that beforehand.
We've provided an offer that lets us provide a fair and equitable percentage to all other employee groups as well. So if we give more to one group, then we have to figure out where we're gonna take that from to your.
So exactly to that point. Dr. Anderson negotiated her contract 3 times in 14 months. And over those 14 months, negotiated a $12,650 raise for herself, which is 4.96%. So that most recent one would have been March 12th, 2026 was the board meeting where that was approved. The board knew in March they could handle almost 5% for her. And we can't even come close to that here. There's some really contradictory things happening here, and it's really hard to sit here and be told the amount that we're told when we know other people are getting significantly more. Significantly more.
Are you going to caucus?
I mean, yeah, we'll have to, I mean, if you don't have a counter to present, we'll have to go back to the drawing board and draft another, I guess, counter to ourselves. It's 10:38. Can we go to 11:15 and hopefully we will be done and we could maybe get you something before lunch?
We need to take lunch at 11:30.
Okay, how long do you need for lunch at 11:30?
Probably at least 45 minutes.
Okay, do you want to shoot for 12:15 and maybe we might have to extend if whoever's not done? Okay,
Yes.
so we'll shoot for 12:15 and we'll text if we need more time.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Hi. Thank you for letting us extend a little.
Yeah, no problem.
Appreciate it.
So we went back to caucus and reviewed all of the information from the survey and all of the information from you guys and everything, and we we just feel like we are not in a position to counter ourselves, so we, I guess are at a point where we would ask that you return to the board and ask them what they would like you to do next, to see if you can provide a counter that either increases the pay or somehow incentivizes the package that at the 2.315%.
Okay, do you just want to email, on some potential future dates where we might be able to come together, in the coming days?
I mean, I think we probably have our calendars, but I don't know that we need to sit here right this second and sort that out. So yeah, we can send you some options, that we have, like all of us are available. And then you guys can cross-reference.
Sounds good.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.